Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Red and White Show. Joining me for this one, Rovers assistant head coach Chad Gribble and Club Doncaster media manager Liam Hoden. Chad, first of all, welcome to the show. Just how much are you enjoying the role at present?
No, look, thank you for having me first and foremost. The role's been great. It comes with many challenges, but challenges that personally I feel I was ready to meet head on. I think we've settled. We've started to build the environment and culture that we want, with the group, and they're really clear on the way we want to work. We've had great buy-in from the players, which has been fantastic, and I think that's going to give us the best chance of being successful. So it's building blocks as always with coming in and taking over a group, but yeah, thoroughly enjoying it and trying to meet every challenge head on.
You clearly impressed the people already at the club when you had that little interim spell, taking the players for training in between managers. How much for you did that whet the appetite and make you want to be around it on a more permanent basis? It
did, yeah. Like I say, in roles at my previous club and in my role as the youth team coach here at Doncaster, I had a bit of a taste of it. I'd worked with the senior group and the senior players before on a supportive role basis. But yeah, I think what it gave me was belief that I was capable. I think I earned early trust from the players and gave them the best possible chance of being ready for when Danny took over the role. So it definitely made me realise it was something that I was ready to step into.
Liam, it was clear from speaking to James Coppinger, wasn't it, when they chose the assistant and the conversations they'd had, that they wanted the right person and right member of staff for this group, and clearly Chad's had a good impact on the players.
Yeah, we know full well from speaking to the players during that period when Chad was taking training how impressed they were by the sessions that were put on, the intensity and the sort of work. And I think what's really important is, particularly with Danny Schofield having such a strong vision and such a specific methodologies, finding somebody who can work alongside him who shares similar values, similar approach, and he certainly found that in Chad from the off.
Working with Greenie in that interim period as well, Chad, did that help you and help it more of a seamless transition because you'd worked closely together for the past 6 months or so in the academy?
Yeah, it helps. Look, I came into the club originally as the youth team manager, and Greenie was working in the transition coach role, and we clicked straight away. I think we had similar ideas on how we wanted football to be played, similar ideas on player development. So I knew that going into the role on an interim basis before Danny arrived, that I'd have Greenie's full support. It's someone who's had a fantastic career at this club, already had respect of the players. So I knew that would enhance, the respect the players would have for me as a coach and as a person. So Greenie's support was outstanding. But yeah, I think the main thing is that we click straight away, and we have a similar outlook on the game. And it became evident when Danny came in that he shared that same outlook on the game that Greenie and I have. So it was quite a seamless transition, in all honesty.
Time now then for the latest quick fire round. Johnny Mitchell is next in the hot seat.
Jonathan Mitchell, 28. Hartlepool. Would have been Kestrel Youth, I think, back in the day. No, I think I was a right back, but that was, for a few years, and then transitioned into rugby and stuff. Football. I was a Hartlepool fan, growing up. Oh, don't make that many. I would probably say, I think there was one away at Carlisle this year for header. Probably that one, yeah. As a Hartlepool fan, growing up it was like Dimmy, big Dimmy Konstantopoulos in the glory days. But then obviously you have the legends like Schmeichel. Probably Schmeichel. Oh, good question. Probably, I like Edison, just the way he plays and his confidence and playing and getting recovering from setbacks. But yeah, I like Edison. Probably Luke Hendry. He's at Bradford now. Yeah, met each other when we were at Derby and stayed in contact ever since. I'm not too sure. I actually have a favourite place. A decent Italian or something, I'd probably say. Yeah, I do like an Indian, but I like a pizza as well. Probably a pizza. I don't know, probably, I was always rugby or cricket growing up, so probably one of them. Probably cricket at the minute, yeah. No, cycling. Yeah, The Last of Us on Sky Atlantic. Yeah, 3 episodes in. It's gonna be good, I think. And a whole array of things, really. Like some classics from back in the day, but probably the Lathams. They're good. Went to see them last year. Yeah, they're probably. Well, they're quite big now, but I suppose up and coming over the last year. Yeah, the Lathams. Moneyball, I think. Yeah. Seen it a few times, but oh god, anybody blonde? Who played Ivan Drago in
Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren, yeah, probably him. Would have been, I think, Mallorca, yeah, with the cycling lads. Also a good question. Probably try and get back into cricket or something like that, or try and do anything sporty, yeah. Hang around sport. I've always said I want to be a pilot, so maybe flight, being able to fly, yeah. Yeah, we'd probably just sport. I was sport mad, still am. Anything with a bat and a ball I could chase about outside, yeah, sport. Probably Closey's technical ability, I think, on the ball, yeah.
Liam, Mitch going up against his hometown club in Hartlepool this weekend, one that will always stick out in the footballing calendar for him.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the first one that he looks out for. He said in that he were a Hartlepool fan growing up. Dimi Konstantopoulos is his favourite player as a young lad, a young goalkeeper. So yeah, he'll be looking forward to this one.
It always adds that extra bit for any player, Chad, doesn't it? I suppose you have to take the emotion out of the occasion, but he'll have friends here with Hartlepool, whether that's in the home end or the away end, always adds that bit of extra things for the players.
It does. Look, he'll be desperate to play in this fixture and do well. But look, it's part and parcel of the game, and players face clubs they support, clubs that they've been part of in the past all the time in the game. It's the nature of it. But look, Mitch is extremely professional day in, day out, and I've got no doubt that whilst there's excitement, his mind will be in the right place to carry out his job to a high standard as he normally does.
With the way that Danny wants to play, and you as coaches want the team to play as well, how do the keepers fit into that? Because often you can see the outfield players in one section of the training ground, goalkeepers in another, but I suppose when you want the team to play in a certain way, the goalkeepers have to be just as included in this style.
Yeah, look, it's a specialist position that requires specialist coaching in terms of isolated unit practice. The goalkeeper's working with a goalkeeper coach, but look, the way we look to play, the goalkeepers are heavily involved. Their decisions within the game are extremely important. Look, it's quite simply based on space and time and control, and we want the group to have as much control of the game as possible, particularly with the ball. It's a process Mitch has really bought into. He's learning every day, but credit to him for the steps he's taken to buy into that process, because that's allowing him to get better, day in, day out with his work. But Mitch is heavily involved in practice with the defenders and unit practice, in full 11v11 practice, in any possession practice we have. Everything has a start point at some point in the game, and there's a lot of occasions when that's him. So look, putting him in that type of work just enhances his decision making. His technique can be worked on with Benno and the other goalkeepers, but it's important there in and around the group for decision making, relationship building, and not only Mitch but the other goalkeepers and Benno have really bought into that way of working.
Now, we play visits to schools back in person recently. Ben Close paid a visit to Everton Primary to get involved in their after-school session. Liam Closey clearly enjoying himself there, teaching the kids a trick or two, and that's massive for the kids, isn't it? I mean, I can't really remember being at school and having a footballer come in to see our class, so it must be a bit surreal for the young children getting to meet players like Ben.
Definitely. How excited they'll have been knowing that a professional footballer's coming in, and I'm sure Ben were fantastic with him when he went in there. It's like a special occasion that I'm sure they'll remember for years to come.
Chad, for the players, it's easy for them to see their job as simply coming in to training, whatever time they come in, whatever time they go home, and then playing on a weekend, isn't it? But there is more to being a professional footballer than just the turning up and training every day, isn't there?
Yeah, look, it's a 24-hour day job for the staff, for the players. You know, they think about the game all the time. You know, people are you know, sometimes unaware of the day-to-day life of a player, and part and parcel of them being paid is being paid to look after themselves and recover and rest and you know, be ready for what's next. It's, you know, they're grueling sessions throughout the week. You know, we can often have, you know, 2 games a week, a Saturday, Tuesday schedule, and you know, the aim is to have players as robust as possible. Availability is a massive attribute. And yeah, part and parcel of that is players getting the right rest, fuel, recovery, and looking after themselves away from the training ground. So yeah, it's certainly more than just coming in for a session and going away again. They'll continually build and look after their bodies, and yeah, as I say, recover and refuel and be ready for what's next.
Yeah, being there with Closey, interesting to hear some of the kids' questions, and you know, it's easy to get sidetracked. You know, what's the best bit about being a professional, this, that, and the other. But some were really engaging in you know, what does it take to become a professional? What should I be doing on a day-to-day basis? Because some of the kids no older than 7 or 8 years old, asking for little pointers on how they can live their life away from just playing. And for you, that a man who's obviously worked a lot in academies and with youth players, how refreshing is that to hear that even at such a young age, when you know, kids should just be enjoying the football, but they're already tapping into, right, how can I be better and make myself stand out from everybody else?
I think there's more out there now, isn't there? Social media is huge, and you know, it has its advantages and disadvantages in the game, that's for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of good content on there, and I think young players, young children have more of an eye-opener now as to what it's like on a day-to-day for a player. And I think there's a greater education now around that side of the game. You know, that it's probably more than talent is going to be required to become successful in the sport as a professional. It's you know, there's a low percentage margin of young lads who end up playing the game professionally and having a career. You know, it's a real honour for the players that do, and believe you me, from someone who's working in it day in, day out, the players, you know, realise that you know, they really do. Now, but it's great that, you know, Ben and the football club can provide that opportunity for the young players to tap into what it's really like, because there is a lot of sacrifice involved, and Ben more than anyone is a player who has given up a huge amount of his life and dedicates a huge amount of his life to his performance in his game.
Joseph Olowu returned from 4 months out with a facial injury to take his place on the bench against Mansfield last weekend. The central defender's been itching to get back on the field and help Rovers climb the table. Joseph, I assume it's been a very long 4 months for you after that injury at Rochdale. Just how excited are you now to be kicking on for the remainder of the campaign?
I'm looking forward to it. I think, like you said, they've just been on the sideline watching the boys getting on with it and picking up good results, and also games where we're just needing to improve as a team. And I think just being back on the pitch and being part of it now is something I'm looking forward to. So hopefully finish the second half of the season strong with the squad. So.
Has it been even more frustrating the fact it was a facial injury, and I suppose from the neck down you feel completely fine, like you're able to play, but of course the medical advice was you've got to take it really steady and ease yourself back in?
I think, to some extent it's like you're saying there, it's the face, so you can't see it. So me myself, I don't know how to judge it. Get out on the pitch, run around a bit, and body feels great, but down to the physio and the medics are saying, you just got to give it some time and let the bones heal properly and do what it needs to do.
You were almost back towards Christmas time. I had a little bit of a setback. How frustrating was that, to feel yourself getting closer and then be knocked back a little bit?
Wasn't ideal at all. I was looking forward to it. I think it was the weekend of Newport, so the day before that all happened, and of course it would have been nice to kind of be with the squad for that trip up to Newport and for the game, and thankfully they picked up a good result there. But I think just it wasn't great timing, but hopefully back into it now, so hopefully can kick on.
What's the situation with the mask now then? We've seen you training in it for the last few weeks. You wore it during the warm-up on Saturday. How long would you see yourself having to wear that for now?
I think just a few more weeks, just for precautionary reasons, and just make sure that hopefully if another bang does happen, it kind of holds up and doesn't injure it again. So hopefully that is the case.
You were on the bench last weekend. Did that just whet the appetite for you, make you feel like you were really well and truly back?
Yeah, massively. I think just the whole atmosphere, to have the travelling fans that we had with us to come down to that game, even though the result wasn't what we wanted, it was still a good performance, take the positives away from it. And I think just having those fans back with us and just getting that buzz of being on the match day and being involved with it was something that I'm really looking forward to.
A couple of games have been called off recently, frustrating for everybody, but were you sort of looking at it thinking, actually, I don't mind that, it means I've missed less games and there's more to crack on with in the final half of the season?
You've always got to find the silver lining and everything, so I think from that perspective, yes, and if it means I can come back in and help the squad with those games that we need to catch up on and hopefully get good results with that, then so be it.
I think it's 5 games in the next 2 weeks as well. The first real run like that we've had since Danny came in, and do you feel that we'll probably will see the best of Rovers across this period?
Definitely so. I think it'll be a big defining period for us, and I think we're going to rise up to it and take the challenge on and come out the other side well.
Because even looking at the table now, I think Rovers are 15th, but you win a couple of games across this period, you could be right up there again, challenging in the playoff places.
Exactly, it's as simple as that. I think that's the thing, we're still in touch with the playoff places, and that's very important for us because we know what the aim is and we know what our goal is, so hopefully we will get that done.
Had a frustrating few months for Joseph. The facial injury he suffered on October the 1st. I think he was due back probably 8 weeks after that, then got a little knock on it again, and it must be incredibly hard to take that because I suppose from the neck down he's physically able to play, isn't he? He's just got to handle that and try and get back as soon as he could. A blessing really to have him back now within the ranks.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, he made great progress in the sort of allocated time frame first time round. As you say, with the nature of the injury, it was easy for Joe to stay fit. He was still able to be on the training pitch and do certain work with the ball, albeit some of the position-specific requirements of Joe were hampered because heading's a huge part of being a defender, and he was unable to work on that part of his game on a regular basis. And yeah, a disappointing one for Joe because just as we got back to that stage of the game and he was able to be in and around some contact again, he picked that injury up in training. But look, it's part and parcel of football, and we very much believe the players should train as they play. Sessions have to be intense, sessions have to be competitive, and it was just unfortunate. Nothing other than that really for Joe. But we're great that gratefully he's made that progress again, and he's back to the place where he can compete fully and be back into contact. And now it's just about us getting time on the pitch to work with Joe, drip feed some messages into him, give him opportunity to practice that and refine his game again, because he's going to be a huge asset to us. Look, it's someone who has great qualities as a defender. He's a great leader in his own right. very aggressive player, very dynamic player, and someone who wants to play on the front foot, which is the way we want to play football. And we've been able to see that as a staff in the small parts of training he's been involved in. But we're looking forward to really getting to work with him.
Liam, do you think it makes Rovers able to play a little bit more aggressive? We saw it in the handful of games he has played. You can play with a slightly higher line because he's so quick and can recover. And it will be like a new signing. Only the January window's just finished. I think he's played 6 games all season. So it feels like a new player's coming into the building.
Certainly does. Both him and Tommy Rose edging his way back as well. It is going to feel like a massive boost when both those players come back. And I think you're right in what you talk about in terms of how Rovers can play that back line. A bit of pace in there, offer something a little bit different in that back three as we're seeing at the moment. When everything's shaping up nicely, some good options.
Hartlepool, the first of 2 tests at home in the space of a few days, Chad. I think it's 11 new signings they've made in the window, almost a new team full of players. What are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Look, as you say, first and foremost, 11 new signings. So, very hard to predict what type of team Hartlepool will put out. But, it's a club that are in a position at the moment where they're fighting for their lives to stay in the Football League. So we certainly expect the team that are going to come and compete and try and play on the front foot and disrupt the way we look to play football. I think regardless of who they pick, that's the approach that we're going to face, and we need to be ready to stand up to that.
The first of 5 games in 14 days, such a rarity this season, particularly since Danny's appointment. It seems to be so stop-start, doesn't it? You win a game and think, right, we're into a rhythm now, a couple of games get called off. How much are the coaching staff and the players looking forward to this run of fixtures and being able to really get that rhythm into them?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. First and foremost, it's a chance to move on quickly and put right some of the things that didn't quite go our way in the Mansfield game. But we've reflected on that and moved on very quickly, and we're ready to go again. But as you say, rhythm and momentum in football can be huge, and I felt like we showed that we can deal with those games in quick succession well with how we played over the Christmas period. We picked up a good points return. We were unfortunate not to get anything at Leyton Orient, and so then to have 2 off on the bounce was frustrating, because when you talk about momentum and rhythm, it certainly affected ours. You can do as much work on the training pitch as you like, but there's nothing like the real thing, and there's nothing like building that momentum, of results and performances. So we're looking forward to the quick turnaround between games, because you can really get that going, and it's a run of games where we believe we can pick points up.
Liam, both teams Rovers face over the next few days probably haven't seen the best of them this season, have they? Rovers had a difficult night at Hartlepool in October, and even more difficult day at Tranmere on Boxing Day. So really a point to prove in both of these games.
I think certainly is, yeah. Disappointment in both of those games, certainly with the result and elements of the performance in both of them as well. So, as you say, try and get back-to-back home wins as well would be fantastic in such quick succession as well. And there's a real opportunity to do that against these 2 sides. But as you say, try and show something better, a more complete performance than what was shown earlier in the season.
2 very different teams you're coming up against, Chad, as well. You look at Tranmere beating Leyton Orient recently. They've got Stockport on Saturday away from home, so another tough game for them. They'll be thinking this is a chance for them to put a bit of a run together, so you've got to guard against that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a team who are going to be fundamentally sound, and we need to make sure that we compete and win that fight in order to play the type of football we want to play. But every game we consider to be about us. We want to impose ourselves on the opposition. So yeah, look, the 2 opponents will bring different challenges, but they're challenges that we've faced before. They're challenges that we've overcome before. And look, I think we've been very open and honest that they're challenges that we've fallen short on at times. The Mansfield game, that was evident, but Carlisle, Newport and Grimsby probably, to note, are games where we've fundamentally been excellent, won the fight early in the game and then imposed our football on the opposition and come out with a positive performance and result. So I think we've shown that we're capable. We want to find that on a more consistent basis. This run of games in quick succession, we feel, will allow us to do that. And we're just looking forward to getting the players on the pitch and allowing them to show that they're capable of that.
I won't ask you for your score predictions, but Liam, do you want to give us a double for Saturday and Tuesday? How you see these going?
I do fancy the back-to-back home wins. I think Hartlepool, they're going to be a different team in the second half of the season based on all the changes that they've made. But this is early days for that. I think 5 signings on January deadline day. So yeah, I fancy Rovers for I'd say 2-0 win Saturday and follow it up with a 1-0 win on Tuesday night.
Chad, Liam, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching on as well. We'll see you down here on Saturday and Tuesday for back-to-back home games as Rovers take on Hartlepool United and Tranmere Rovers.